Thank you. Hi, everyone. Today is Saturday, January 31st. Welcome. I'm Jeffrey Morgan, and this is a talk I host twice a week to discuss my experiences on the path of soul transcendence. This offering is brought to you by the Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness with the encouragement and support of my friend John Morton, who holds the Mystical Traveler Consciousness, which is the spiritual consciousness that does the work that we're doing here today. If you're new to the call, the format is simple. We're going to start by calling ourselves forward into the light, which is calling our awareness forward into the light of God that's already present. And then we're going to chant three Anai hues. Hue is an ancient name for God, and Anai invokes a quality of empathy and compassion. And then I'm going to play a video clip from my teacher, John Roger. And then I'm going to do a reading from St. John of the Cross. And then we can talk about whatever you would like. And I notice my friend Ron Holnick's on the call. Do you want to call us into the light, man?
Okay, I think that should do it. All right. It's always so great just to see everybody, isn't it? Lord God of all creation, we come before you this morning with love in our hearts and the awareness that we are divine beings having a human experience, standing forth in the name of our God and demonstrating the love that is our essence. And for this time, Lord, and this privilege, we give our thanks. So be it.
Then we say, but I'm not getting mine. You're never going to get yours. How about helping somebody else get theirs? But if I help them get theirs, do I ever get mine? Can't do it that way. Why? The highest form of service is selfless. The highest form of consciousness is service. Find something, just do a random act of beauty and caring without any repercussions of anyone doing anything back to you for any reason. So you know what a random act of caring and beauty might look like? Leave them alone. It might look just like that. Call, you look tired, you look sleepy, I just walked away and got some water. What else might it look like? It might look like this. Honey, is everything okay? Is there anything you want me to do that could help you? If there is, I don't know what it is, tell me. Leave an opening. It's like toss out an anchor to them. You might get 10 feet away and they say, could you bring me a glass of water? And you go, sure. Could you? How often, how much do you love them? A lot. Then you do as many coulds as you do. How many is that? I don't know.
Okay, this is I Entered the Unknown by St. John of the Cross. I entered the unknown, and there I remained unknowing, all knowledge transcended. Where I entered I knew not, not seeing myself there, not knowing where. Great things then made themselves known. What I sensed I cannot say, for I remained unknowing, all knowledge transcended. In the peace and purity was perfect knowledge. In profoundest solitude, I understood with absolute clarity something so secret that I was left stammering, all knowledge transcended. So deep was I within, so absorbed, transported, that all senses fled, and outer awareness fell away. My spirit received the gift of unknowing knowing, all knowledge transcended. He who reaches this realm loses himself, for all he once knew now is beneath his notice, and his mind so expands that he remains unknowing, all knowledge transcended. And the higher he rises, the less he knows. That is the dark cloud that shines in the night. The one who knows this always remains unknowing, all knowledge transcended. This knowing by unknowing is of such exalted power that the disputations of the learned fail to grasp it, for their knowledge does not reach to knowing by unknowing, all knowledge transcended. Of such supreme perfection is this knowledge that no faculty or method of mind can comprehend it. But he who conquers himself with this unknowing knowing will always transcend. And if you are ready to receive it, this sum of all knowledge is discovered in the deepest ecstasy of the divine essence. Goodness and grace grant us this unknowing, all knowledge transcended. Well, all right. Just a couple preliminary things. If you're new to the call, new to MSI, new to Soul Transcendence, I will give you preferential treatment and always push you to the front of the line. So if you are thinking about sharing or you're new to the call, I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, you can always raise your hand if you'd like to share. I saw there was Farsi translation. So is there somebody on the call from Iran, perhaps? Or, well, I'd love to hear from that person if that's an option. I mean, if they're willing. Um, if nothing else, just to send light to all that's going on there. And maybe she'll share or he'll share. Okay. Who is not shared before or is new to MSIA? So, okay. Or Susan, you're new to the call. Are you new to sharing? Okay. Susan will go first.
I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand. I think someone did it for me. Thank you.
That's
Um, yes, I'm new to this call. I've seen you on YouTube a few times,
well,
and I'm relatively new to MSIA. So I understand you can ask a question, and
of
here's my
course.
question. Um, I've been having, I think, what you would call long COVID. Every 2 or 3 months, I get a upper respiratory thing that
Sure.
lasts for 3, 4, now it's 6 weeks. Um, and I see Ed Wagner, he helps me, and
Yeah,
he said that what happens with me is that I'm a little nervous. Thank you for picking me, by the way. Um,
of course.
that I've been what I seems every time I go in, it's some other family member's stuff that I've taken on,
Yeah.
like my daughter's or grandson's disappointment, or my husband's failures, or um, sorrows. And I'm not aware that I'm doing it,
Uh-huh.
but it's letting an opening come into me where, according to Ed, where the virus can take hold, and it's taken hold in like my bone marrow, my brain, my inner spinal fluid. I mean, different parts every time. And I'm going, come on, what do I do? How can I build up my immunity or prevent this from happening? Um, we did go back and at one point became aware that I started doing this as a young child. Um, so I'm wondering if there's any guidance you can give me so I can, because I'm fatigued and, I would like to have my life back in better way. I can't see you anymore. Let's see.
I'm here. You
Okay.
can you can pin me using the three dots.
Okay. You're on
Yeah.
speaker.
Oh,
Speaker.
wonderful. Yeah, I'm right here. So it's an interesting question. Uh, I love Ed Wagner. I find him to be one of the most entertaining people in the whole world. And I think that it's very easy to go see any practitioner and get very severe with whatever it is they're saying. And I think that one of the greatest gifts I've ever received in this life was the admonition or the understanding from JR's teachings that I'm not obligated to believe anything, but I have an opportunity to check things out.
Mhm.
I think with a lot of healers, they may be very talented even at their level of their hands and the way they touch you. I mean, I usually feel like I get most of the healing when I hang out with Ed Wagner just from how he touches me or how he kind of presses buttons in my body, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
or maybe just the love in our friendship. But you don't have to worry about the severity of his words. And sometimes the severity in the words can perpetuate the severity of the experience. To a large extent, we experience what we believe.
Mhm.
And if we believe that we're sick, we experience sick. And the strangest thing, I challenged myself when COVID first happened and nobody really knew what it was, and it was like this big scary thing. Even in the midst of that, I challenged myself to really wipe the slate clean in my understanding of the disease and really entertain radical perspectives, radical attitudes. So for example, I when I first got COVID, they didn't have a vaccine, they didn't have anything, right? When I first got COVID, they didn't even really have a name for it. They barely had a name for it. It was just this mystery disease that wasn't the flu and there wasn't this other thing that they could test for. They couldn't find it in any known strain. And I remember I felt the sickness, but I kept getting, it's like I kept muscle testing or checking inside. And it was like, you're not sick. And I'm like, what? It certainly feels like I'm sick. And then I kept going, well, what is it? What is it? And what was testing is information update, information update. It was the strangest thing in the world, information update. And then I listened to this John Rogers seminar, this recording, where he said at the root, viruses are just a form of information.
Mhm.
And then I remember subsequently I'd read this book, I think, Why Information Grows, and just this idea of looking at information in this broader sense, that in the information age, there's so many different sources of information, and really even a cell is information. DNA is information.
Mhm.
So at the root of it, a virus is information. And I started wondering, what if viruses are simply the means by which the consciousness of the planet sends informational updates to beings? It's interesting, gene editing, I think in some cases is achieved through viral delivery systems. So like it's almost like they'll use a carrier virus that can inject the genetic material. Or so if you think
Mhm.
about it like in computing terms, it would be like you get a software update from the from the hub to the cloud location, like when you get a notification, oh, you got a new update for your operating system.
Mhm.
So I started looking at it in this radical way. Now, none of this is to say, hey, don't go to a doctor, don't do all that stuff. That's not my
Right.
place to. I'm the guy who comes up with really radical ways of looking at things. I'm not the guy who comes up with your prescription or any of that stuff.
Right.
You go to a doctor for that, but you might consider it's always the strangest thing to start to realize that all our experiences, especially the difficult ones, are a prayer answered. And it's the way God loves us.
Mhm.
that somehow the language of God's incredible and overwhelming unconditional love and care for each of us is the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that we complain about. So when I got sick with COVID the first time, because I've been sick with COVID a couple of times, but I used this technique each time, I would check and I would go, is there a level of awareness, information, or somehow harmonizing with the rhythm or the informational flow of the world that I'm resisting right now? Is there something I'm resisting, like an update or an upgrade or a different way of being that the world is inviting me to participate in at this moment, that I'm fighting? In most Eastern frames of reference, in terms of sickness, illness, and the things that we feel, oftentimes pain and suffering are the direct result of blockage, constriction, and resistance. And maybe that's why, I mean, if Jesus Christ taught, resist not evil, maybe that's the key, that really the suffering that we feel is our own consciousness's unwillingness to receive of it and let it pass through. And I always thought the statement was very peculiar because I don't actually know. I mean, I can see, like, if it's like, how do we define evil? If we define evil as an anomaly or code, like if we define evil as a form of information or a variant of pattern that is passed down generation to generation through different systems of human relation, I can buy that, but it's not an innate quality. Like when people say, oh, that person is evil, what they're really saying is that person is participating in a system pattern or an emergent function that we've decided is counterproductive to that which creates life, or that somehow it blocks that which is expressing as the qualities of the soul in this world. If you keep having the same pattern over and over and over again, the radical perspective is to say some part of you wants that, or you didn't get the root of it. I don't know if you've seen this. I mean, look, I've been doing this healing fun stuff and all that stuff for a long time. And I find time and again, if a pattern of the body perpetuates itself despite all of this clearing and just keeps layer after layer after layer, I found it very effective to look down below all of it and say, what is the belief structure or identity level that seeks to perpetuate that? Because if you have an identity structure or a belief structure underpinning the experience, it will recreate it. So you have to ask these difficult, inconvenient questions and go, what part of me actually wants this? And oftentimes, if illness is given as an opportunity for transformation. I don't know if anybody else on this call has experienced that, but it's like you'll go through this experience of a cancer or a really profound illness or like a crazy pneumonia or just something that just knocks you out, and you just come out of it like a different person. Like some part of you was left behind with the illness, and whoever's left over is more essential. And so, in a sense, illness becomes this baptism, but the opportunity is always like things fall away, things get pulled away, things get taken away. And what's left over is something more essential.
Yeah,
So
I have. I'm sorry. Go on.
I'm throwing you this different perspective because I get this sense that, yeah, look, you got some heavy karma with family stuff that you haven't addressed on the subconscious level. You have trapped emotions in certain parts of your body for sure. You also have belief systems in your subconscious that are locked in. And these are all things that you're capable of working on. And I think that even as we go to see great practitioners and talented healers, we must never lose sight of the fact that only God is the healer. And the only conversation you've ever had is with the beloved in you. And that beloved is orchestrating this incredible symphony of your life. Every molecule of this universe conspiring for your liberation. And so nothing is arbitrary, nothing is accidental, nothing is broken. And so if you're having this long COVID thing, it may be a great merciful act of your body and your consciousness going, okay, beloved, we're just going to keep cycling this until you get the punchline. Once you get the punchline, we'll let it go real quick, but this is too important. This one's essential. You got to get it, and then it'll release. And I have intuitions about you, but the strongest intuition is this is sacred. This is a sacred process. It is not for me to give you that answer, to give you that punchline, nor is it any other healer's job to do that. But God uses people like the Ed Wagners of the world. They can be such beautiful instruments of that beloved inside of you, of that healing conversation. But we must never give our power and never fully give over to that. It's like what people say is gambling immoral? It's like, well, I don't think it's moral or immoral. I think giving ourselves over to addiction and desire is counterproductive. But if I go to the casino with my dear friends and I say, well, I've saved up, I've got plenty of money in the bank account, and I really want to have fun and learn about what this gambling thing is. I'm going to lose $500 tonight. And if I win $500 tonight, I'm going to tithe it all. You see, it starts to become, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, of course that's a wonderful thing to do with your time. But if I go there going, here's my last $500 and I don't want to work harder, but I just want to get easy money and I think I'm lucky tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and risk my rent. You see what I'm saying? Context matters. And if you go to a healer and you say, some part of me knows exactly what is happening and what needs to happen for my healing, upliftment, growth, and learning, and I invite that part of me to guide me to that which serves me. And I got to tell you, I work with different amazing healers and practitioners and spiritual whatevers, and I wait to hear that green light inside. And it's like, and the other thing about it is like, if you're going based on inner guidance and getting that healer to work on you, and you may not understand a word they say or what's going on, there's also that trust that some part inside of you, it's like you may be balancing a karma where you just have to like pay this person a bunch of money and then that's good for you. That's good. No, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You may mock up in your mind, this is only working if I get better in this way. But this all might be about completing a karma with that guy, which is great. Well done. When I'm around all these healers that I work with, but particularly like people like Ed Wagner, I've had the pleasure of just knowing for a little while. The thing that I do is I just love him and I just enjoy being around him. And I find the crazy crap that comes out of his mouth so entertaining and I just love it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we must never lose sight of the cosmic joke that is our life and the comedian that is God telling us that joke. And we can laugh the whole time. We can even laugh about long COVID. And it may be that long COVID is a misdiagnosis. Maybe it's a blocked up transformation process where you're resisting and being stubborn. And I'm sure you don't have any stubbornness at all in your consciousness. You see? But most of the time, we're walking around pretending we don't know the answer when we really do. You get what I'm saying? There is a healer in all of us that knows exactly what that next medicine is, that next loving that's going to be our gateway to greater freedom. And I think you're on a very sacred process. And if you're getting the inner guidance to work with that person, I also wouldn't look at it and go, oh my God, did I waste my money? No, you didn't. If you followed your inner guidance, you're on the right track. There's no waste in following that knower and that lover inside of you.
I've been wanting a stronger and more aware connection to that. I've been looking for that piece, that connection.
Well, see, but that's the key. You claim it. When you look for it, do you understand you're telling your subconscious you don't know the answer?
Uh,
When you embody it and just claim it and know it, if you just say, I know the answer, I know what is most healing for me in this moment, and you just start putting energy into it, you'll find that you do know.
okay, good.
Do you see how when you frame it as I keep looking for the answer, you're implying the answer isn't in you already?
No, I mean, yes, I'm looking for it in here and I'm like getting the hookup or the
But
connection.
but see the separation. Who's looking
I
for
agree.
it, and what
Yeah.
distance do they have to traverse to find it?
I will definitely sit with this. Yeah.
I think it's very sacred, and I'm grateful you shared.
Thank you so much.
And thank God for all the healers in the world that we work with, and that they're there, and that they say crazy things. Thank God.
He does come out of left field for sure.
Oh my God, thank God he does. Because sometimes left field is what we need. All we need is a very, very different perspective.
Mhm.
And we have wonderful healers in our own community, and they come out of left field sometimes. And thank God. And the best part is we don't have to believe anything we hear. We just get to check it out. And if we're smart, we get to laugh about it.
Mm.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
thank you. So I saw somebody raising their hand from the community in Iran, and I would love to just take a moment to connect in with you. I don't know how to pronounce your name though.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I I might am I on English? No, I'm on original. Now I'm on English. Hi, how are you? Oh, you muted yourself.
Hi.
Hi. How are you doing? Is this your first time on the talk?
نه فکر کنم دفعه سومه. آره دیگه. آها اینجا آره آره.
اینجا دفعه اوله آره؟ Yeah, this is the first time. But I think she's saying that this is the third time that I am participating in an MSIA event.
That's fabulous.
خیلی خوب.
Is there something I can do to support you right now?
م،
من نه سوال ندارم اومدم لذت ببرم.
I don't have a question. I'm
صدام
here to
میاد؟
enjoy.
Maybe that's how I'll support you right now.
آها آها. آره باشه بگو که درخواست دارم که همه از اینجا همین جمعی که هستیم برای ایران انرژی خوب بفرستیم.
I I would like to ask that all of us gathered here send good energy to Iran.
I was just going to say the same thing. Please, everyone, let's just take a moment to see Iran bathed in light, to thank God for Iran, for all the beautiful spiritual teaching that has come out of it, for all of the holiness and sweetness that runs through the veins of every person there. May everyone in Iran be filled with joy and peace. May they remember that God loves them. And that before Iran was even a nation as we know it today, it was a land of great saints and spiritual teachers where man walked and women walked with God freely. Okay, beautiful.
بنویسم. نه تشکر کن از همه خیلی.
I'm so
مرسی.
very grateful. Thank you.
My pleasure. God bless you. How do you pronounce your name?
Do you pronounce it? Rayehe.
Royehe?
Yeah, exactly. Rayehe.
Royehe. It's a nice name. Does it mean something?
Yes, it means let me let her
Okay.
say that. Okay.
بعد دیگه میشه بوی خوش.
It's nice fragrance, beautiful fragrance.
That's a beautiful. It reminds me of a poem by Kabir. And he talked about how his guru was a great perfume maker that would stain me with the fragrance. Sometimes when John Roger would enter the room, people would smell like a smell of rose or jasmine. And yet he wasn't wearing any fragrance. Sometimes we know when the beloved is present when we smell that sweetness. So may we all.
خیلی ممنون. عزیزم.
What?
Thank you for sharing that. I'm touched.
May we all be stained by the sweet fragrance of the beloved, by the mystical traveler consciousness, and by the Christ. May we never be able to get that scent off of us. Thank you, Rayehe. Okay. Sam Westmacott ran away, but I want to talk to her.
Oh.
Sam, do you want to raise your hand again? Or I'll have to look for you on the list of people. I'll have to chase you. Ah, there you are. Hi, Sam. I'm trying to unmute you, but I don't think I'm trying to.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sam. How are you feeling?
Hang on, I can't hear you. Hang on.
Can you hear me now?
Right, Jeffrey, I probably can hear you now, I hope.
Hi.
Hello, Jeff. Jeffrey, what I wanted to talk,
How are you feeling?
I'm absolutely amazing. I mean, when you consider that 10 days ago, I broke 2 vertebrae in my neck, my arm, my other wrist is compromised. I've broken my right eye orbit. My teeth are all rearranged. My nose needs resetting, and my shoulders out. So it's quite a lot of stuff, really.
You've had a
And
transformation.
I hope not, because I don't like this new configuration that much. But what I want to talk to you about, Jeffrey, is something that happened when it happened, which I found. Well, yeah, I think actually everybody might well be interested in what I'm going to share, because
Absolutely. That's why I called on you.
yeah, and always, ever since I've known JR, my understanding of life is that we get turned on at that moment when we're born and they go, "Whoa!" And that's when spirit comes in. And I've always believed that stays with us until we get switched off in that nanosecond of death. And I've not really kind of talked about it very much and wondered, you know, kind of in and out. It's worked for me. That theory works for me perfectly well. Anyway, then I go tumbling down these stairs in the dark. And I was woozy, I was ill. So I slipped off the top of the stairs and I tumbled down 5 stairs in a very narrow staircase. So I kind of like a squashed. And then I hit the end wall. And it was a very unpleasant experience. And when I came to at the end of that fall, it was very, 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 very interesting because I was in tremendous pain. I mean, everything broken and in pieces, and blah, 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 and I don't know what I can move and I can't move. And I don't want to say in a split second, but I was aware of 2 bits of me. And I was aware of my body, this lump of clay that was wanting to lie on the floor and do nothing. And I was aware of this very clear, purposive me. And I'm saying me because it's so clearly who I really am. And that who I really am decided I had to get up the stairs and I had to do various things, or I would probably die where I was. So that bit of me that I'm talking about, it was like a very, very crystal clear voice. And that directed me. And when I said directed me, it didn't direct me, it directed my body. It was communicating. I was communicating with this. And I managed to get to this, to crawl up the stairs, go into the bathroom and have the pee, which I needed to have, and walk back into my bedroom, lie down on my bed and pick up like the phone and dial 999. And it wasn't until I was speaking to the telephonist and beginning to get myself organized that I went back into this consolidated thing that I am now. Okay. And it was the first time in my life when I've experienced that total separation. And it was really pleasant. And it was a really nice kind of experience because it was so beneficial in terms of what I was able to do. And since then, my outlook has very definitely been different. I mean, I haven't had some epiphany, I haven't had some extraordinary thing.
No, but your energy is very different.
Exactly.
You look lighter, Sam.
I'm sure I do.
You look like you freed yourself of some constriction. We'll put it that way.
Yeah,
It's a
that's what
good
I'm
look
going
for
to
it's a
say.
good look for you.
But it's good feel, Jeffrey. It's,
Your energy looks great.
good. So I just wanted to share with people and say, it's absolutely amazing who we really are.
Can I just acknowledge you for a minute? Because it's really badass that you not only came to, but somehow managed to get yourself up the stairs, take a pee before you laid down and called an ambulance. That is not only utterly ridiculous, but it's utterly impressive to me. So I want to just acknowledge you for utter ridiculous badassery,
Well, there are other things that were extraordinary about it. Because after I spoke to the ambulance people, I called my cleaning lady at 3 o'clock in the morning and said, this has happened. Her response was, Sam, I'll be there in 5 minutes. She arrived on my doorstep at the same time as the ambulance men with the key to my house. Isn't that amazing? I mean, if you look at the way the universe handled this, it was quite incredible. A few minutes later, the firemen arrived and they put me on a funny shelving and then they dropped me feet first down there and got me into hospital. But it's also what's happened while I've been here, Jeffrey, that has been so extraordinary. The interchanges that I've been having with people, the different spaces that I'm in, the service I'm able to do in this hospital, with listening, being, holding the life, and so on and so forth. This is extraordinary gift.
I've never felt you so present in the times that we've spoken. It's like I felt like in the past when we spoke, there was almost a layer of mentalization and interpretation or filtering. And now I feel like I'm just face to face with your soul.
That's it.
And it's a privilege. It's an honor.
It's mutual. So, aren't I the lucky one? However, I don't think
However, I see the face of God. However, oh.
quite extraordinary because I mean now they're telling I've been here for 10 days and they say I can go home, but I can't. And the reason I can't go home is I need to go back to my house and be looked after. And the way they want to discharge me is with social care, so that somebody comes into the house and helps me wash and stuff. I mean, what I can do with these hands is very little. And it's very strange because there's a huge waiting list on social care. Now, Kinka, that wonderful friend of ours and yours, Kinka Gurkha,
Yeah, she's
Kinka,
wonderful. Yeah.
oh, she is. Kinka has offered to fly over tomorrow and look after me. And I'm saying, yes, please. But if she does that without their permission, I can't have social care in the future. So I'm stuck here, she's stuck there, and there's 100 people stuck. However, there's another benefit to all this. There's another boom. There's another amazing thing happening. Because I'm who I am, I'm not lying in bed and taking opioids and being out of it all the time.
Well, that
So I'm
sounds
around the
really
water the whole
fun.
time. What?
That sounds really fun.
So consequently, they're now talking about pushing me up the discharge list. And they might let me out, and they might let things come and stay with me, and they like to do it as a special arrangement. So would you all just put that in the light that something
Let's just
goes
send
through?
light to all socialized medicine everywhere. And while we're at it, let's send light to privatized medicine in this country. And while we're at it, let's just send light to all the frontline workers who are doing the best
Well,
they can
amazing.
and doing amazing with often limited resources.
It's true.
And thank God for nurses. And thank God for doctors who treat nurses well. And thank God for all of it.
Yeah, I've been so, one of the best lessons that I've learned in here was I couldn't understand it, why I was being told off for not using a walker. How do you use a walker when you've got a hand? And then I noticed that people were putting down things like a yoga pot in front of me and leaving the lid on, so I couldn't open it. And they would get cross and I'd hand them a sachet and say, can you open this, please? And I thought, why is everybody having a go at me? You know, what is it all? And I suddenly realized it. We only see what we're used to seeing.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yes.
consequently, nurses, like everybody else, are only able to see what they can see. And so when they get it wrong and they kind of like ask a silly question or suggest I put my shirt on or something, it's like, it's so amazing to just understand that it's because it's outside their experience rather than having any context of
And
negativity.
the nurses I've known care so incredibly deeply,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah,
often faced with a rock and a hard place in their decision making.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, one of the silly things that's happened is that one of my girlfriends bought me in a pudding, an apple crumble. So I asked them to microwave it.
That's a good girlfriend. You should keep that one.
So I had to have one. And she brings me this apple crumble. So I think this, can you microwave it for me? No, we're not allowed to microwave anything that isn't commercial and date stamp, blah, 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 blah. 1.5 hours later, look at what these people do. They brought me a specially prepared form which absolved the hospital of any blame if I was damaged. On top.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would sign a release form for an apple crumble. Absolutely. Absolutely.
After that, they microwaved it for me. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. It's a very generous, lovely
Oh,
story.
you've given everybody a great gift. Thank you for going to the trouble of falling down the stairs so you could fall in love with your soul beingness in full expression. You've done us all a great service.
I just hope I hang on to it. Okay, I
What are
need
you
JR to
talking?
help me
Of course you're
figure
going to
it.
hang on to it.
I don't know,
Of
but it's
course you're going
lovely.
to hang on to it. And
Yeah.
by the way, for the record, let's just assume for a sec that there's someone else orchestrating all of this. You're probably
Yeah.
still in the hospital just so you can hold light for more people in this consciousness that you're in. It may just be that you are where you're needed.
Well, you know what? The lady in the bed next to mine is always looking to me for calling in the light. And when she's real trouble. Yeah, and so on and so on.
That is a wonderful, that is a wonderful ministry. That is a wonderful gift that you give her.
It's an extraordinary thing, isn't it?
I got the sense that JR would go to the ends of the earth for anyone, any one of us, just to call in the light with us.
Yeah, and you know, the first time I did, I said, I'd like to show you how I do things. So she said, well, I'm not going to like it, you know, because I'm not spiritual and I don't think there's anything in that stuff at all.
Oh, the poor dear probably got her astral initiation through you. Now she's really in trouble.
I don't know. But Jeffrey, thank you.
God
And
bless you,
love to
Sam.
Tinker and love to everybody else. And thank you for listening.
Thank you all.
And God bless. And I'm going to sort of ring off now. God bless.
God bless. Thank you, Sam. All right. The first person who raised their hand on the call was Lelania and Richard, and then Anna Maria McCombs. Do you want to share, or are you good? Either one. Maybe you already got the answer. Okay. Oh, we'll go with Anna Maria.
Hi, I thank you so much. I kind of got the answer. My question has to do with a situation. I'm working with a group of men in corporate. It's my first time working with corporate clients, and I don't even know why I'm so shaky, but give me a second. So how I landed in this universe is kind of amazing as many things. And yesterday I had an interaction with one of the top guys in one of the companies. It's 11 companies. And so I really wanted to strike back. He was a bit of a jerk. But instead I moved into this very diplomatic, appeasing persona that I comes up in situations where I feel that I'm up against something or someone really strong. And I diffused. I looked at his team, everybody was like really shocked. And I looked at the developer that was there and I diffused the situation. It almost felt like diffusing a bomb. But then I have this huge, deep sense of shame that I betrayed something inside of me, because what I really wanted to do was to kick him in the balls. And instead, I became this other very different person. And I thought it was funny at the same time that he was so riled up and he was such a jerk. But then I've been sitting with this sense of shame about me and betraying a part of me that is actually really strong, because I actually felt really weak at the same time. And as I work with this, the majority of them men and very, very strong personalities, for the most part, the younger one of those teams are super easy to work with, are the older ones, the VPs and the top. And I feel that I've come up against something that has showed up in my life many times. I don't even know why I'm so crying so much. Because it feels
because it's releasing. It's releasing. So you should keep crying maybe louder, no? The energy's moving, like it's working really well. So maybe double down, huh?
I just need a soundtrack right now.
I can play you one if you want. Like violin music or something.
Like the violins, just
Yeah. Like a Barber's Adagio for strings, you know. I can play it if you want.
This is so good. Anyway, I was raising my hands because you had a lot of experience with corporate and also doing the light work. Because interestingly enough, what all these companies have in common is that they are in the defense sector.
Oh, good.
So it's amazing to me. It's just fine. Anyway, yeah. So how do I deal with assholes?
Yeah. No, so let's just first So first, that's really great that that's releasing. So now go back into the room. So you're in the room and the person's yelling at you, being super disrespectful, whatever that is. And this time you bring in JR and Jesus Christ, and you call a timeout, and they start working on everybody in the room. They're helping heal everybody in the room, especially the asshole, right? And they're working on you, they're working on everybody. You see everybody releasing all the negativity. And you stood up for yourself. You say, hey, we're going to stop and we're going to heal right now. Before we move on, even a second further, I'm going to have JR and Jesus Christ work with you. You see? Can you see them doing it?
Yeah.
Notice how all the releasing is going on and how this kind of peace starts to come over the room, even as all the demons are being pulled off the asshole who was talking to you that way. Yeah, you have a pattern, like a lot of us, of obsessing over situations that didn't go the way we think they should have. In our infinite and cosmic wisdom of knowing right and wrong, apparently. So then we try to go back over and interpret and figure out, what did I do wrong and what could I have done and why didn't I speak the truth, and what if I was more brave, and what if I did kick him in the balls, and but if I did kick him in the balls, wouldn't I get cut off, or like the engagement would be, and then I would be fired, and what about, like, you just go into all of that crap, right? But that's not what your consciousness is craving. What your consciousness is craving is the loving and the healing of the Christ on that situation. So all you need to do is go back to the room. Don't worry. Time and space is an illusion. You can go right back into the room and you bring that Christ into that situation, and you make sure nobody leaves the room until all is forgiven, all is loved, and all is healed. And then at that point, you'll get to a place in your consciousness where you look at the room and you realize it was always meant to be that way. And you start to hear this honest voice coming from each member of the room explaining what they were really going through. The man who yelled at you was yelling at his mother. And he said, but I don't like being told what to do by my mother. And you go, okay, if you needed to work that karma with your mother in that moment, I'm glad I could be that for you so that you could feel empowered. And you start to realize how horribly painful it is to be in that person's consciousness or to be that person's basic self. And you have this incredible compassion and mercy come over you. And you say, if it helped you to yell, even for 1 second, I am grateful that I could be a safe place for you to do that. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
The reason you feel disempowered in this situation is because you're not claiming the power of your Christ self. You're not claiming the power of the one in you that has equal and total love for all of God's creation. For me, ultimately, it's like, what do I do in corporate? I serve God. And what do I do out of corporate? I serve God. And what do I do in corporate? I listen for the call, for that direction. And what do I do with the people in corporate? And even what if they're the SVP? And what if they're the EVP? And what if you go on? I love them. I love the one in front of me. And I say, I want everyone around me, especially me, to be safe and loved. So I'm going to create the highest level of safety for this person on the planet. I want this person to walk away from the conversation, and even if they screamed at me, it's like they talk about the Buddha under the Bodhi tree. And that moment where all the arrows come from Mara, from all the demons, and as they come close, they transform into lotus blossoms. In the consciousness of unconditional loving, even a person screaming in your face is God's baptism. It doesn't matter. You didn't kick him in the balls. because you were trained by someone who only had love to give. Even when seemingly the entire world of public opinion turned against JR, he didn't strike out. And even on the cross, Jesus didn't strike out. And even when people ignored and chastised and argued and tried to eliminate the Buddhist teachings, he didn't strike out. The first act of war is defense, right? I love that quote from Byron Katie. The first act of war is defense. And when the unconditional loving is greater than the ego position, you find that there was never a war in the first place. And you start to take radical responsibility for even someone yelling at you and go, if I had somebody yelling at me in my experience, then I'm yelling at me in my experience. So then you go to the part of you. I mean, I just told you about that part, right? You're yelling at you and chastising you after the experience, looking back at all the things you could have done and all the things and all the love from your parents you could have earned if you had just done that one thing. And all the love of the Catholic Church you could have earned if you had just been that pure, and all the other, you just go all the conditionality that you created in your consciousness, and you become the prayer fulfilled because you give all that to yourself. Because it's a fallacy. How could you earn infinite love and mercy? There's no beginning or end to it. You're already forgiven, you're already loved, you're already with God. How could you earn something that is infinite? So the more you start to realize all we're talking about in these difficult situations are me, myself, and I with me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, who's the one inside of me who's yelling at me, who I want to kick in the balls? And then you work with that one and start to help that one heal. And as soon as that is healed, I guarantee you the person will fall. Like, I've had this with so many people, and people just melt. There's no energy for them to ride on. There's no hook for the karma to get in. There's nothing. It just falls apart. Like they come to have an argument and everything just kind of falls away.
Yeah.
It just kind of falls away.
Yeah. 100%. One of the
So,
things that I've been doing with them, Jeffrey, is in the Luxor meditation, JR talks about gene of peace. And I've been setting this prayer for the gene of peace to go into everything that they manufacture, everything, all the conversations we have with their.
oh, you're talking about because it's a defense company?
Yeah. So I don't know if that was a good idea or
No, I mean,
me
look,
trying to change things, but I just find it
I
so.
think the thing that you can do is clear whatever you think about defense companies.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yes.
We're talking about just another collection of people who are doing the karma of the planet. Defense companies exist because there are karma for defense companies. And war exists because there's karma for war, and killing exists because there's karma for killing. There's nothing out of place or wrong. And ultimately, it's like right? It goes back to the Gita. It's like Krishna and Arjuna standing before the battlefield. Ultimately, the freedom is, Lord, what would you have me do? And simply following that loving and that light where it will take you, including to a defense company.
Mm.
The highest level of integrity is to just follow the Lord within, to follow the Lord of love that is guiding us. If you start mentally engaging with, well, what is this company really for? Then you're actually pulling yourself into that karma. But if you're just there doing the excellence of this is me serving God the way I serve God right now, that's really clean. And my God, whatever you have to give, knowing you and knowing your consciousness, don't you think a defense company needs it more than anyone else?
100%.
did Jesus go to the people that already knew what he was teaching? Or did he go to the very lowest points of negativity in society? I think he even said, does a doctor go to healthy people? Right? And somehow we're going to judge and connect because Jesus said, listen, minister to everybody except for defense companies because I just don't like what they do. It's like, no, it's go where the work is needed, go where the loving is needed.
Growing up in a dictatorship, I had two splits. My mom's side of the family was in the military and supported Pinochet 100%. And then my dad's side of the family, they were tortured, executed. And I always felt that I was a traitor on either camp because I couldn't choose. And I was feeling that same sense.
And if you go inside your consciousness and you see all of them being healed and loved,
Yeah.
do you understand it is a difficult karma to be a prison guard and it is a difficult karma to be a prisoner?
Yeah.
It's a difficult karma to be a police officer and it's a difficult karma to be a criminal. It's a difficult, do you understand? None of this is easy and it's all just different expressions of this experiment in karma on this planet. You weren't a traitor to anybody. You were in a unique position to understand that there are very human humans on both sides. You understood that just because somebody's in the military and they do all this horrible stuff, they are still a human who goes through human things. And just because somebody's an oppressed rebel, do you understand? It's so subjective. People look back and say, make America great again. It was so great. And then you look at certain communities in America and go, when? When was it great? At what point in American history was it great in my community? You get what I'm saying? It's all it's all relative and it's all an experience of karma. And there's just no way to know what is right and what is wrong. That's really not our domain. Justice is mine, saith the Lord. But what we can do is we can be loving and we can be in integrity and we can be sweet with the person in front of us. And we can thank God for all of it. Growing up in a dictatorship, I don't envy the karma of a dictator. I don't envy. I send light to the dictators of the world because I do not envy the karma that they will need to complete through that action. You know, I've heard that Hitler was only a thought form because there wasn't a soul around that had the appropriate karmic posture to take on everything he was doing. I heard that, and part of me kind of makes sense. And for the other dictatorships of the world that did have a soul running them, that's the thing. I've never, because of my experience level and all the stupid things I've done over so many lifetimes, I have no envy for people like that, for people who have such power and money and wealth and all this stuff and hurt people and the whole thing. I have no envy for that. My God, the pressure they must feel. And at the end of their life, I can only imagine they wouldn't think, oh, I wish I had done one more firing squad. They would think, I wish I had spent more time with people who love me, doing things that truly make me happy. But do you understand the freedom? If you recognize that a defense company is completely worthy of your loving, that means that any part of you that is that gets to feel that it's completely loved. You've created so many parts of you throughout the years and your experiences that somehow were declared as exceptions to the admonishment that God loves all of its creation. But if you just claim it and you say, you know what, even dictators are loved by God, then you get to free the dictator inside of you, and you don't need to feel that heaviness.
Feeling now like Pinochet's face is coming up, and it was completely being transformed inside of me right now.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Forgive him, Father, for he knew not what he did. May the Lord's mercy be upon him. May he find a traveler and find his way home to the heart of God as soon as possible. May he know the love of the mystical traveler and the Christ in this lifetime as soon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And keep crying. It's working really well for you. It's like a roto-rooter. Good job.
my
Keep
God, it's
crying. Keep crying. You could put on some really great music and just let it go. Let it rip.
I'm still sticking with the violins. That's the best. Thank you.
Okay. God bless you. Thank you. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for sticking around. It was great spending time with you, and thank you for those who raised their hand and shared your beauty with us. God bless you. I love you. Peace be still. The blessings already are.